8 minutes. But when I actually do it, it's 15. Because it's like Google Maps are made for flat surfaces.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be checking out a video that was requested by John, prior to request. Shout out to you, by the way, John. And 25 tourist mistakes Americans make when they visit Europe. This is a Walter's World reaction. He just posted it like 4 days ago, actually. So we're going to jump in on here and react to it, see what it's all about. We're going to be going to Netherlands next year, if you're not familiar, or if you've not heard, next April. So we're going to be planning our trip over there and everything over the course of the next year. And this video is going to be great because it's 25 mistakes Americans make when they visit Europe, and we're going to try to avoid these mistakes, you know, because we don't want to be mistake makers. And
that's one of Trevor's big things, is he doesn't want to go there and offend anybody or make any like huge mistakes. So maybe we'll learn some stuff about that.
He's going to probably be watching some videos too. I would assume that. But anyways, if I didn't say it already, links down below and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching with us. We're going to check it out, guys.
Hey there, fellow travelers, Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're in Athens, Greece. We've got the Acropolis behind us with the Parthenon up on top. And today what I want to talk about are some of the mistakes that tourists make the first time they come to Europe, or maybe the second or third or 17th time they come here. And the first mistake I hear a lot of tourists make, and it kind of irks the locals when you are here throughout Europe, is really just the idea that you're saying that it's all Europe, like thinking Europe is all the same thing, and it's not. Everywhere you go throughout the continent, you're going to have different people, different vibes, different food, different experiences, because Portugal and Poland are totally different. Cod versus cabbage, it's just a whole different thing. And so just...
Cabbage? Is there a town called Cabbage?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's what he said. I got to go back and check. But yeah, this dude's been like a lot of places. I've reacted to quite a few of his videos in the last couple years and stuff. So
I have reacted to a few of his too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure you have too. I don't remember exactly which ones, but
yeah.
Cabbage though, huh?
Just a whole different thing. And so just kind of lumping everything together isn't something you should really do. That's why it's important to explore more of Europe than just going to London or Paris or Rome.
I guess I didn't skip it back far enough for that, but it's all good.
Or whatever. There's a lot more to see and more to explore. So don't make the mistake of thinking you're going to one place in Europe, you've seen all of Europe, okay? And another mistake I think people make is when they're planning the European trips, they only explore Europe, meaning Germany, France, Italy, and they don't explore more. Think about getting some of the beautiful places in Eastern Europe. Tallinn, Estonia is gorgeous. Riga, Latvia, Vilnius, Lithuania. Going down to Southeast Asia, seeing Croatia, Serbia,
nice.
Slovenia is just amazing. And people kind of leave that out because they think, oh no, I need to go to London, Paris, and Rome. Maybe I'll stop at Munich for Oktoberfest. No, that's a mistake. Go and explore other parts, especially if you're looking to come in summertime when it's really, really packed with tourists. By exploring some of these other parts of Europe, you really do get a whole different vibe, like I said, but also you might get a lot less tourists, so you can really enjoy the culture a lot more. No matter...
You know, it'd be nice if he would have had like the places where the footage took place or whatever. Like all the footage that he's showing. Like obviously the one place was like Greece or whatever. You know, but some of those other places, you know, because he was talking about like Estonia and like
and I'm sure he's been there too.
Oh yeah. But I don't know what footage, because there was different B-roll popping up when he was talking about it. So it'd be cool to see like which footage was Estonia, which one's this, which one's that. Like if he would name the cities or something.
Where you are in Europe, another mistake I see people make is using ATMs indiscriminately. Look, there are private ATMs, and then there are ATMs at banks. And if you're a traveler, you should try to stick with ATMs that are in banks, because they're usually giving you a better rate. They're usually not like ripping you off, let's say, because sometimes the private ones can have excessive fees, or they do what's called, hey, we'll give you the code.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to figure that out too. Like
that'll be totally fine though. We should be used to this.
Well, yeah, but like
anywhere here, if it's not from our bank, it will charge us.
Well, yeah,
to cash our check, it'll charge us.
Some places will probably charge more though too.
$3-4
so we gotta figure
what
out
a typical charge would be for us if we were to withdraw money.
I'd like to know, you know, if there's some places it's only charging like €3, one place is charging 6.
Sure.
Like I want to go to the cheapest ones, or if there's free ATMs.
Yeah.
conversion, which basically gives you a horrible exchange rate, but tells you, oh, but we'll let you know exactly how many dollars are going to come out of your bank account. That can be a really big ripoff. Like I've seen 20-30% differences in exchange rates versus the official rate versus what they gave you in those private ATMs. So just be aware of that. And the thing is, if you get the offer when you're paying with a credit card,
that's what it is. It's not just regular ATMs, private ATMs, so they're converting it different. They're taking more percentage than they should be. Let us know where to avoid those at. Yeah. I don't want to go to those. But honestly, like, I don't know. Maybe we can get cash back too. I don't know, like, cause here you can go to the store, you buy some stuff, get cash back.
Yeah, that's why he was mentioning like going to banks instead of like the ATMs, but I can't just go to any bank. I would have to go to my bank. So I wonder how that works.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, because we probably need to carry some cash with us too. Like a lot of places
for sure.
take debit cards, not so much credit, but they'll take debit cards. But like some places don't, and we gotta have cash.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, you want to pay in euros or dollars? I personally always choose euros because I feel my credit card company back home gives me a better exchange rate than the conversion that the hotel and restaurant are graciously offering me, or ATM. And here's the thing, some of those hotels and restaurants, they don't know about that difference, so they're just trying to help you out by charging you in dollars. Don't do that. So always just pay in euro, okay? Don't do the conversion. Another mistake people make is they start speaking louder when people don't speak English. Look, if people don't speak English, speaking louder doesn't really make a difference.
Right.
It just makes the situation more awkward. So just know that, hey, if not everyone will be speaking English here. Know a few words, it goes a long way. But that speaking louder part, I mean, I'm here in Athens, and honestly, when you're here, most of the tourism people do speak English. But yeah, you can tell when the people didn't speak perfect English, they just started speaking louder.
And the thing with this, though, we're not going to have to worry about that being in the Netherlands. Something like 95% of everybody that lives there speaks English, so no worries there.
That'll be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, if we pop...
Although, we're still learning Dutch.
If we pop over into Germany a little bit, over into Belgium, maybe there might be, a little bit people that don't speak, as much English there, possibly, but I don't think so. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of them do.
Don't make that mistake when you're here, okay? And another mistake that my mother would make sure I wanted to tell you is, look, don't make the mistake of thinking it's easy to find a free or clean or a nice toilet whenever you need to go. Look, when you're going by your hotel...
I've actually heard that the ones over there are way cleaner than ours, and that right there looks... I don't want to just go and just start filming public bathrooms around here or whatever.
It's really nice that they have like so many handrails for them.
Oh yeah, for the handicapped or whatever. Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty clean.
I mean, the public ones here sometimes can be pretty alarming.
Yeah.
And they call them bathrooms here. They call them toilets over there, which is, we'll have to remember that.
Yeah.
Hotel,
hop in to use the restroom. When you see a nice bathroom, use it because...
Hold on, I just seen an SOS button. Look, if you have an emergency, I guess I get it. It's a handicap. This one's a handicap.
Wait, why is there a shoe right there?
It's a mirror. That's Walter's foot.
Oh.
It's a mirror on the wall, babe. But yeah, I guess with it being an like a handicapped accessible.
Yeah.
The emergency button makes sense.
When you're going by your hotel, hop in to use the restroom. When you see a nice bathroom, use it because some places you might have to pay, like in Germany and Austria, you pay to use the toilets in a lot of places when you're there. I mean,
I've heard that they're cleaner though. You pay like 10 cents, whatever that would be in euros. I don't know if they call them cents there still or not. I think they do, but it's usually, from what I hear from people that's been there and here, it's cleaner over there, and like the money's worth it. Like they're cleaning,
Right.
I mean, they're clean, so you don't mind, but you have that. Other places, I mean, we've been in the islands of Greece, and we've been in places around Italy where it's literally like a hole in the ground that you're squatting over, like a porcelain hole. So finding a great toilet isn't always a great thing or an easy thing to do. So make sure you use the services when they are nice, if you're not sure if you have to go. Now we're here in Lisbon, Portugal, and our next mistake that tourists make when they come to Europe is they think the train is the only way to get around Europe. Because, you know, for the longest time you hear about Eurorail and Interrail, and I'm riding the rails through Europe. Yes, you can do that, but here's the thing. If you take those cheap airlines, you can get from Paris to Berlin a lot faster than you can taking the train or going from the north of Italy to the south of Italy.
Right.
That can save you a lot of time and give you more time to explore the cities. So don't think it's the only trains that are things that you can do to get anywhere. Airplanes can get you places as well. But I also think this is also a mistake if you only use the planes to go around. Because sometimes taking the train is actually going to be faster because you get on the train in the middle of the city, you don't have the security checks, you get on, you go to your destination, you get off, you're right in the town, so you don't have to worry about the taxi out to the airport, the getting there 2 hours early, the taxi back in, or the public transportation in. You don't have that. So you want to make sure you're balancing the timing of the flight versus the train when you're
But also, like, trains would be cool to be. It would just be cool to be on a train.
I mean, like, how
going
much
through the forest or something.
Is it affordable just to jump on a plane and do that?
I've heard you can go to, like, from Amsterdam to London for like $20-30.
Wow.
You're getting around. Now, another embarrassing mistake I see tourists make from all over the world, they come here to Europe, and I know Europe's different everywhere you go, but they speak their own language, and they think the locals won't understand. You'd be surprised how many Europeans speak 5, 6, maybe 7 languages. I mean, I'm an American that lived in Europe, and I speak Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, English, German, French, a little bit of Lithuanian, and I can understand things. And I'll be sitting there and here in Portugal, and Lithuanians will go by, and they'll start talking about people, and I'm like, don't say that. That's not nice. So don't make the mistake of thinking people won't understand you if you're talking behind their back. That's a really big thing that happens at hostels when you're like, dude, I know you're talking about how you're going to rob.
Because he said he's an American that lives in Europe, or he's lived in Europe. I don't know if he said lives or lived, but...
On my backpack, come on. So be aware of that one. Another mistake people make is they only go to the big cities. I'm only going to go to Lisbon and Porto when I'm here in Portugal. I'm just going to do Berlin, Munich, Prague, and Budapest. Yes, those are all big cities, and they're all fantastic to visit.
We're going to go.
But if you want to get a little more better taste of the local culture, I recommend either throwing in some day trips. So if you're in Berlin, go to Potsdam. If you're in Munich, take a day trip and go to Nuremberg or go to Bamberg or Regensburg. If you're here,
yeah, we're going to be going to some small places, actually, too. I mean, we're going to be going big and small.
Here in Lisbon, go out to Evora and see the UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Some of that
is
stuff looks
Evora.
good.
Go to
like, nice,
Opidus, and it's going to give
See
you
that scenery?
a better understanding of the culture than the big cities will. So don't just do the big cities. Don't make that mistake. Go out and explore, even if it is just a day trip from a big city. And that's why it leads into my next mistake, is people don't use public transportation, not just to get around, but also to get to those day trips, because public transportation throughout Europe will make your life so much easier, and they can make what you think is a daunting ride or drive or whatever into an easy day trip. Going out to Potsdam, like I said, from Berlin. If you're in London, you can do the train.
See, we could take a train right in the middle of... Did you see that?
Yeah.
That looks so cool. Doesn't it?
And Wi-Fi.
Yeah, right. Save the data on your phone.
$380. Is that the price?
Starting price, probably. It probably goes up from there. Maybe $380 anywhere within a certain radius or something, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll charge more as you go out.
Into an easy day trip. Going out to Potsdam, like I said, from Berlin. If you're in London, you can do the train and go up to Cambridge or go see Oxford or go to Canterbury, right? You can do all these things on a simple day trip. So don't pass up the public transportation, not just in town, but also just to use it for day trips to go see things. And you know, I was talking about public transportation getting you to those day trips, but I think another public transportation thing...
I think that's Germany there.
And you know, I was talking about public transportation getting you to those day trips, but
I don't know for sure, but I feel like that's Germany.
I think another public transportation thing, another transportation mistake I see people make is they don't
wrong.
pre-book their tickets for popular routes, okay? So if you're going to be going Venice to Rome, or you're going to be going Barcelona to Madrid, you need to book your tickets early to make sure you get a seat reservation. But
oh, pre-book your tickets. We need to do that. We're going to be staying, so we're flying into Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, right? And we're going to be staying, we booked a place, it's a full house actually, in Limburg province. So close to Germany border, stuff like that. So we need to get some stuff booked for that.
Also, you want to book early, because if you book early, a lot of times in Europe, the tickets are sometimes half the price if you're booking early. I know we saved hundreds of euros by booking our tickets early in Italy last summer, and it saved us so much money just because I booked beforehand. And when I've been on the train, I've also seen another mistake that tourists make. A lot of times I see it as US tourists, but other tourists as well, Brazilians I've seen do this, the tourists from everywhere, is overpacking. Look, you're not going to have a lot of space when you're here, when you're in Europe, whether it's in the taxi, whether it's in the train, whether it's in your hotel. You're not going to be able to spread everything out. So when you're packing, don't overpack, maybe underpack, because you know you can buy everything here in Europe, right? You can do that. But honestly, that's a mistake I see people make. Like, they're trying to get 3 suitcases on a train in Italy. You're like, look, there's nowhere to put it. They're staying in a hostel, or they're staying in a hotel or apartment thinking they're gonna have all this room, and it's a single bed and there's just not the room for your stuff. So overpacking can be a mistake. It also makes you more of a target to get robbed, because if you got 3 bags, I'm gonna steal 1. You can't run after me with the other 2. Even fat me.
Watch me. Watch me. You'd be surprised. I'll get you. You ain't gonna get my bag. I tell you what, somebody wants to show up at the airport to jump me when I get off the plane and steal my bags. You got a surprise in store. I'm gonna outrun you. I don't care if I get out of breath. I will jump over stuff that's in my way.
Because if you got 3 bags, I'm gonna steal 1. You can't run after me with the other 2. Even fat me, you couldn't catch. And going back to that pre-booking thing, it's not just mistake of not pre-booking travel, also making a mistake of not pre-booking certain sites, because some sites book out way in advance. Like the Alhambra in Granada in Spain, you got to book that thing out like weeks in advance, otherwise it sells out. I mean, if you're going to go in June and July, make sure you're booking it like in April to make sure you get a spot, because if you just show up thinking you're going to get in, you're going to be out of luck. The Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, you need to go a few days ahead and go online and book your ticket so you can.
Have you ever seen, you need to react to a video about that, the Familia Gradi, whatever you just said, it's in Barcelona, Spain. That is incredible.
That's beautiful.
I reacted to a video about it one time. I mean, the detail is insane.
Get in instead of being in that huge line or not getting in at all. Now, to continue this, let's go to another part of Portugal. So now we're here in Évora, Portugal, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And the next thing I want to tell you in terms of mistakes I see American tourists make when they come to Europe is really not reading the menu before they start shoveling food in their mouth. What I mean, in places like Portugal and Spain, you'll notice that sometimes they'll have bread on the table, they'll have olives there, and you think, oh, back home, chips and salsa, everything's free.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here in Europe, sometimes those things are free, sometimes they're not. So it's important to look at the menu, and it might say, oh, the pan is €1.60, oh, the olives are €2, or the cheese is €5, you know, these kind of things. And because I've seen tourists get really upset when they've eaten things they thought were free, and then their actual bill was a lot more than they expected, because they didn't know, okay? So don't make the mistake of just eating what's there. Make sure you check to see if it is included. And if it isn't, feel free to say, I'm good, you can take it away, and you won't have any problems. Because I also have had people that were sitting at the beer gardens in Germany, they had the baskets of pretzels there, and they start munching these big pretzels. I'm like, dude, those are like €5 each. They're like, there's no sign. It doesn't matter if there's not a sign, you're gonna have to pay it, all right? So do be aware of that mistake. Another mistake I see people make when they travel to Europe is they only eat kind of the national dishes of the country that they know from back home. So if you're going to Germany, oh, I'm gonna have a bratwurst when I'm in Germany. Well, actually, if you're in Berlin,
I want a doner kebab. That's what I'm gonna do when I jump over.
That looks really good.
That thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is though, but it looks like some sort of tomato sauce. Maybe it's like a chicken, like a. I don't see Parmesan. I was thinking maybe like a chicken Parmesan or something, but probably nothing I've heard of, because he's talking about regional dishes. Probably isn't anything I've heard of. I don't know what a regional dish from Portugal would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it reminds me of like a chicken Parmesan or something.
and you should have a currywurst. And if you're in Bavaria, you should have a Weisswurst, the white sausages. Yeah. There's different sausages you should have in different regions. Here in Portugal, having food from Alentejo is very different than if you're up by Porto, so you want to kind of think about that. And so sometimes it's even just appetizers. I know for me, patatas bravas are my favorite tapas to have when you go to Spain, like little things to eat, and that's all.
That reminds me of the Dutch war fries a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, that right there, because it looks like there's the peanut sauce, there's the chives, there's the mayonnaise. What else is it missing? I can't remember.
I bet that's what it is.
It's very similar, but it's like almost like potato wedges instead of fries, though. It's done differently.
A little bit.
Yeah, that looks good. Yeah. I'd smash that. Like I would eat the shit out of that right now.
all over Spain. But the thing is, if you're in Cordoba, you want to have the fried eggplant. That's the best tapas to have. But you don't know that. So make sure when you're going to restaurants, ask them, what are some of the regional dishes that are here? And what's nice is a lot of the smaller towns, they will literally say, and on the menu, these are our regional dishes. This is what you should have when you're here. So don't make the mistake of only eating the national things. You know, I mean, yes, still have them. Like, I still had a lot of patatas bravas, but don't miss out on having those local specialties too. Another mistake I see a lot of tourists make when they come on vacation, I mean, it's vacation, you want to relax, but when you're coming to Europe for vacation, sleeping in is a mistake. Museums close maybe 4, 5, 6 o'clock at night.
Trying to get her out of bed in the morning, you know, and there's a lot of times I'll go to sleep after her and I still wake up before her.
Yeah, well, whatever.
We need to get up and go do so, or else you're gonna be sleeping in. I'll be out front sipping coffee by the canal or something.
Right.
Which I don't know if there's probably not any canals there in the town that we're going to be in. Limburg, it's in the south, but
got it.
When we're up in the north area with the canals, that's what I'll be doing.
And therefore, if you're sleeping in till noon and having lunch, and then you get to actually start seeing sites at 3 in the afternoon, you'll only have time to see one museum or one site. So get up early, go see some sites before lunch, have your nice lunch, see some stuff afterwards, and then go to bed early if you need the extra sleep instead of sleeping in and missing out on seeing things. And honestly, a lot of times when I film, I'm actually filming in the morning because it's a lot quieter. You can see the city without tourists running you over. And the thing is, if you're getting up early and you're walking around and exploring and seeing the sights, you start building up your hunger, right? Well, here's the thing. A lot of people forget that there's a lot of lunch specials here in Europe. If you're in Spain, Portugal, Germany, I mean, I've gone all over, and a lot of places will have a special menu for lunchtime where I can have a more traditional meal or a nice meal that might be more expensive at nighttime, and I have it at lunch. I can save some coin, okay? So save your money, have that big meal at lunch. Now, another mistake I see tourists make is kind of professing their family lineage when they're here in Europe.
Yeah, nobody there cares. I already know that. It's like, who cares? It's like, you know, yeah, it's cool that I have ancestors from like the Netherlands in the 1600s, but that doesn't make me Dutch. You know what I mean? Like, I have a great grandpa or something from France. I'm not French. I wasn't born in France. You know what I mean? Like, so going over there and being like, oh yeah, you know, this and that, they're just gonna look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
For example, I know a lot of Irish Americans, when they go to Ireland, they say, I'm Irish, my great-great-grumpity-grump came over in 1785, and my great-great-grumpity-grump came over in 1851, and they're so proud, I'm like, I am Irish. Or people come here, oh, my family is Portuguese.
You were born in
America. What you have to realize is, yes, that's important to you as an American coming here or a Canadian, but for the Irish, they're like, dude, you weren't born here. You didn't grow up here. You're not Irish. The Portuguese, were you born here? Did you grow up here? Do you have the saudades of the homeland? No. Then you're not really one of us. And that's one thing that I've seen, like, really.
The saudades. I don't know what that is, but that sounded cool.
Those of the homeland?
Oysters.
No. Oyster. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of oysters either.
Me neither.
My long time ago, it was my mom's ex-boyfriend had a mom that would always make stuff with oysters, and it would be like oyster cornbread and like all sorts of stuff all the time, and I didn't.
You don't like it?
I had to finish my plate. I had to eat it. I didn't like it. It was gross.
No, then you're not really one of us. And that's one thing that I've seen like really hurt some kind of tourist feelings when they feel like, hey, my family's from Italy, you know, my family's from Spain, and they're like, that's nice, and it doesn't mean as much to the locals here as it does to the tourists that come here. And an expensive mistake I see tourists make is when they come to Europe, they don't get a data plan or an international phone plan when they come here, and then they get an insane, horrible bill from their phone company because they've been traveling all over Europe. So
I can get that added to ours for $20 extra a month. I looked into it, and it's supposed to work in the Netherlands, international roaming. But then again, it's like, is it free? Is it just $20 to give us access to the roaming, and then we're being charged for the roaming that takes place?
See,
I got to look into it a
Yeah.
little bit more.
There's so many little things.
Yeah, because if that won't work, then what we'll do is probably get like an eSIM or something, like a European eSIM to use while we're there. Whatever's going to be cheaper.
please don't forget to get that. Don't make the mistake of not having that plan, okay? And make sure you check all the countries you're going to go to, because sometimes all the countries are included, or sometimes, oh no, one small country isn't, and you could get nailed that way. All right, so let's go to another part of Europe to talk about some other of the little mistakes that we see tourists make when they come here to Europe. Now we're here in Nafplio, Greece, and my next mistake I see tourists make is when they're booking accommodation here in Europe, they only book based on price. You're like, oh, that's a cheap place to stay, we'll go there. Like, I'll see tourists going to Rome, and they'll literally stay on the outskirts of Rome because it's, 30% less than staying in the city. And I gotta tell you,
I mean, I kind of did that, but at the same time, I don't really care where the first night, like the first few days we stay in the Netherlands. It's good. I'm gonna enjoy it, and it don't matter,
sure.
Big town, small town. My decision was based on price for sure, but also like how close is it to transportation. One place we booked, I had to cancel it because it ended up being a 19-minute drive to a closest train station, and so it was kind of like out there in the middle of nowhere, which. I'm not trying to rent a car and stuff over there, so.
Right.
And then getting taxi rides would probably be a lot more expensive, so we rebooked, found a spot that's like a 10-minute walk from a train station, like a 12-minute walk from like a bus. It might even actually be the same. The bus might even be at the train station. I don't know exactly, but it was like super close by, right there by a city center. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
When you're wasting 30 minutes or 45 minutes on public transportation going in and going out to the center, or if you miss a connection, you got to take a taxi for 30 or 40 minutes, are you really saving money and are you really saving time? So I think it's really important for you to balance the price and location of accommodation when you do come here, because if you can stay in the historic part and enjoy the entire time you're here versus having to spend hours in transportation going back and forth, that might be a mistake you want to look into, okay? Now, another mistake I see tourists make is they don't kind of brush up on the geography, history, culture, and language of the country they're going to visit. Now,
I did. I'm trying at least. Trying to do the language. I've been learning a lot about the Netherlands. She's been doing some Duolingo too.
Netherlands.
Ik spreek een beetje Nederlands.
I'm not saying you have to be a completely fluent person in Greek when you come here, or know the intricacies of Greek history when you're there, but just having a rough idea of the historic background of the country you're going to, the geography of the country, so you know where are the mountains, what are the good places you want to go, where are the main cities
There's
located.
No mountains.
Because if you're coming here to Nafplio and you tell people, oh, it's in Nafplio, they go, oh, did you go to Mycenae? Because it's literally like 13 kilometers outside of town. It's right there, and if you don't know, sometimes you miss out. And by understanding a bit better the culture, the language, the people, it can really help. Because honestly, an efharisto or a parakalo, a thank you or you're welcome, goes a long way here in Greece to get a few extra ouzos on the table. And it helps you understand the culture better and helps get more out of your visit, because then you kind of understand how things are. Now, another mistake I see tourists make when they travel.
Did you see that kid with that knife?
Oh, yeah. What is he doing?
Visit, because then you kind of understand how things are. Now, another mistake I see tourists make when they travel is they don't find out about local festivals. Now, yes, there are the world famous ones like
local festivals. We're going to go to a national festival in the Netherlands called King's Day. Happens in the entire country. I don't know where we're going to do. We're going to probably try to go wherever the king goes. So
as close as we can.
Yeah, so we're landing on the 22nd, and so we have 22nd, 23rd, 24th, maybe 25th. No, checkout's 25th. Yeah. So then we're going to wait until like June, July, whenever the king announces where he's going to be. Then we're going to figure out where we're going to go from there, and just kind of play it by ear.
Oktoberfest and the running of the bulls in Pamplona. And you have those things that people know about. But local festivals. We were in Malta during their festas when their parties were going on with the fireworks and the streets.
Malta. That's got that. If you're into conspiracy theories or any kind of ancient aliens, there's a lot of check into Malta. Just saying, like the architecture there, it's interesting.
All done up, and it's a really fun time. Go to the Festas Populares, the Saints festivals in Portugal in June. I mean, you have all these festivals going to the Christmas markets in Germany and Austria at Christmas time. I mean, there's so many great festivals that sometimes people miss out because they just don't know. We were in Cordoba, and I took students there, and part of
that is insane.
Yeah. I wonder what...
That might be in Portugal or something, because it's got the palm trees. It looks very warm. Mm-hmm. Portugal's in the south of Europe there. Wow.
Festivals that sometimes people miss out because they just don't know. We were in Cordoba, and I took students there, and part of it was because it was the week that the Cordoba Fair, the fair, was going on. So everyone's dressed up in the fancy clothes, and the parties are going on, and it's a really great thing. But you don't want to miss out on that, because those are one of those times when you get to see a lot of like cultural dances, like cultural events, cultural clothing, folk stuff. I mean, it's really a cool thing to see. So make sure you don't miss out on some of those. And if you hear that, oh, there's a festival going on in the village down the way, hey, you know what? We need to go to Tolo and go to the festival that's nearby. Now, another mistake I see tourists make is they forget that here in Europe, a lot of times you got to pay for some of the extras. You want a bag to put your groceries in? You're probably going to pay for that.
That's how Aldi's does it, but it's a German company.
Yeah.
You want ketchup with your fries, or maybe more than one packet, you're gonna probably have to pay for that. And I've seen people get upset. Like, I've seen people in Prague go over the counter because they were so mad that they didn't get free ketchup. Look, the little extras here, don't make the mistake of thinking it's...
Those are the idiots that give Americans a bad name when it comes to American tourists. The idiots that go berserk because you didn't give them free ketchup. Get the hell out of here. Come on now. You're going all the way to Europe, and you're gonna want to fight somebody over some ketchup. Like, come on, pay 10 cents, get 30 cents for the ketchup.
Right.
Come on now, that's crazy. That's insane.
It's included, whether it's the bread on the table, the cheese on the table, you know, the bags at the store. Just realize that sometimes you got to pay for those little things. You know, like sometimes you got to pay for the toilets in certain spots, right? So
I'll pee on a
do
tree.
be aware of that, and don't make the mistake of thinking everything's free or everything should happen just because I think it should. You need to be aware of that. And another mistake that I see really disappointing travelers when they travel in Europe is not knowing the kind of schedules and the timing for food, restaurants, accommodation, you know, museums and sites. Because some places, oh yeah, the sites are open from 9 to 5. Other places it's 8:32. Some places it's only open in the evening time. And you want to make sure you're doing your research beforehand to know, when is that museum going to be open? When is that site open?
Right.
Is there days when it's open at night? What are the days they're closed? Because, you know, a lot of places, I've talked about this before, they're closed on Mondays. Well, some places they're closed on different days, or some places it's free. So make sure wherever you want to go, before you come, check to make sure you know the opening hours and opening days, so you don't get someplace and go, yes, I'm here to see the Louvre, and I only have Tuesday here in Paris, and the Louvre is closed on Tuesday. So now we're here in Stockholm, Sweden.
That would suck too. You're like so excited about going to the Louvre. You're only there for the day, and it's like, oh, never mind.
And another kind of mistake I see Americans is closed on Tuesday. So now we're here in Stockholm, Sweden, and another kind of mistake I see Americans make when they come to Europe is their kind of over-reliance on Google Maps, or their over-reliance on trusting that Google Maps is correct. Look, I can't tell you how...
What else am I supposed to do? I don't know the roads over there, right? Like, that's what the Discord's for, guys. If we get lost or something, like, I might have to ask for directions.
Or their over-reliance on trusting that Google Maps is correct. Look, I can't tell you how many times I've had, oh, the walk from the train station to the hotel is 8 minutes. But when I actually do it, it's 15. Because it's like Google Maps are made for...
Maybe you just gotta walk a little faster, Walter. That's all. I'm sorry. That's all. I think. They go by a normal average walking speed. And, maybe you're just walking too slow. I don't know why that was so funny to me.
8 minutes. But when I actually do it, it's 15. Because it's like Google Maps are made for flat surfaces.
And he looks so confused, too. He's like, but when I do, he's like, so perplexed. He's like, but when I do it, it's 15. Like, what is going on here, guys?
Is slightly downhill. When you come to Europe, you've got cobblestones, you've got hills, you've got all kinds of other stuff. So it always takes longer to walk anywhere. Like, if it says 8 minutes, put like 12 or 15 down. Give yourself an idea. Same thing with driving, because it literally calculates a lot of times, it seems at least, like, oh, it's speed limit and distance, so you're there. Like in the US, you know, oh, if somebody's 60 miles away, it's going to be just under 60 minutes. I'll be there in an hour. Here, I mean, literally in parts of Europe, it may be only like, oh, it's 5 miles away, but it'll take you 20 minutes. But the Google Maps will say something else. So just be aware of that. Give yourself a little bit of extra time, okay? And I think another thing is a mistake Americans make is they like, I don't want to come to Europe because it's not safe. I've heard about these pickpocket things. I'm like, look.
It's safer than it is. Go to Chicago. See how safe it is.
Yeah.
If you're from the U.S., there's muggings there. There's carjackings there. We don't have that here in Europe. It's a super safe place. Like, you'll see little kids going on public transportation to go to school every day. No big.
And then, meanwhile, in America, you got little kids that'll rob you point blank and steal all your money and beat you halfway dead in the middle of the street in Chicago or something.
Yeah.
What are you worried about Europe being unsafe? Because they got out of their safe little suburbs, is what it is. Rich people that live in the suburbs, they all their little gated community and their homeowners association with the security guard at the end, and they're just like, you know, living it up so safe like. To them, maybe it's a little scary, but they're not living the real way anyways, like hiding behind fences and stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
a safe place. Like, you'll see little kids going on public transportation to go to school every day. No big deal, okay? So don't be scared to come here. I mean,
burger looks
obviously, use your common sense, like don't leave stuff in your rental car and don't leave your stuff out. I use this safe. I mean, normal safety ideas, you want to make sure you do that here, but overall, you feel so much safer when you're in Europe, whether you're in dangerous Eastern Europe, which I just joke about now with some of these things, or you're going to other places like Paris. Yeah, pickpockets are there, but honestly, thinking that it's going to be unsafe coming here and you should stay home, no, don't let that stop you from coming to Europe. Now, another thing I think we need to talk about, and this is one that's going to probably break your heart or break your perception of your grandma's cooking, and that is thinking you know what the food is really supposed to be like. Now, don't get me wrong, if you go to your local IKEA, or IKEA as we say in the US, their Swedish meatballs, they're pretty spot on with the lingonberries and the mashed potatoes. That's legit stuff. But you know, Grandma, you know, who got the recipe from the old country, her spaghetti and meatballs. Yeah, you don't have spaghetti and meatballs in Italy. It's spaghetti is one plate, meatballs are another plate. It's not really a thing. And when you go, you start to see
here, it's because everything it's a mashup. You know, everything's been kind of just, you know, we got like a little bit of everything culture-wise, because the melting pot, everybody coming here and you know, on the Mayflower and blah blah blah. Immigrants coming here, bringing their food and stuff. So it's changed, I think.
Wait, the perceptions and stereotypes and food stereotypes and ideas I had about these countries are different when I get there. So don't be upset when the grandma spätzle that you had back home in the US is different than the spätzle noodles you have in Germany. So be open to some new food, even if it's old favorites you already know about. And when you're going out to eat, another problem you might notice or a mistake people make is they're never sure if it's cash or card. I think that's a mistake. People don't check beforehand.
That's what I was saying earlier. Some places, it's either debit card or cash. It's not always both. We got to have both on us.
I need to have when I'm there, because not every country uses the euro. I mean, I'm here in Sweden, and it's the Swedish krona. You have the Swedish crown. They have that. You have.
Oh yeah, we don't got to worry about that though, because we're going to be in the Netherlands. They use the euro for sure.
It is going to feel so weird not tipping. In fact, I think
it's going to feel great.
I think we should just.
It's going to feel great.
I think we should just.
They don't want us to.
What they do. Will they look at us all weird? Why are you giving us money?
It's not a thing over there, and it's great because it shouldn't be a thing. Pay your
pay
your workers a wage, and I shouldn't have to pay extra for my cheeseburger just because you don't want to pay your waitress or your cook the right amount of money or whatever. You know what I mean?
It is pretty ridiculous.
I want to know if this is the price. That's it. I don't want somebody sticking their hand out and wanting an extra $20 or something when I already gave you an over.
I mean, I don't want to tip either.
Amount for the pizza.
I'm just saying. I think it would be funny. Just to get a reaction.
Right.
The pound when you go to England, you know, but then you have the euro in Germany, and you have the euro when you're in Lithuania, and you have the euro when you're in Portugal. But the thing is, it's not just making sure you know which money to have. It's also, is it a cash or credit card place? Like here in Sweden.
Debit, not credit, usually in Europe. A lot of places don't take American credit cards over there because they don't do the credit system necessarily. It's more of like a debit. If it's, from what I've heard, if it's got the Visa logo on it, it'll usually work over there.
Okay.
And then there's another one, I can't remember. The Visa's the only one that I remember because that's what we have. And I'm like, okay, cool, we should be good.
I've been here for a while. I didn't take out any money because you literally pay with your card everywhere. There's places where they don't even take, you know, cash, right? So you want to make sure you know the kind of money situation where you're going to go, because that's where people have mistakes. It's like, oh, you mean my American Express doesn't work here? No, it doesn't. Visa.
I mean, it's the clue's in the name, American Express. It didn't say nothing about Europe. It's not a European Express card, so. That one makes sense, right?
People have mistakes. They're like, oh, you mean my American Express doesn't work here? No, it doesn't. Visa,
No, it's not
MasterCard,
America.
or sometimes just cash. And speaking of the cash thing, I think another mistake I hear a lot, and this is what people tell me why they don't go to Europe, is they make the mistake of thinking going to Europe is really a lot more expensive than just staying in the U.S.
No, Europe's actually cheaper than the United States. What makes it more expensive is getting there.
I was thinking that too.
In the United States,
I don't know how anybody a regular person could afford just to go to a different country.
It's insane, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, first of all, you have to pay for the passport, and then you got to pay for the plane ticket and this and that. So it's going to cost a little bit more for the plane ticket and everything like that. But honestly, I mean, it was like almost $1,800 for but it was there and back. 2 tickets there and back. We still got to add Trevor's on there, but.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like, if you were to get a plane to like California, right? Well, it's not going to take that long. It's only going to be half that, so probably only be half as much money to fly there, I would think. And you don't have to get the passport and all that. But then again, California's probably going to cost a lot more money than Europe. It really is a lot cheaper.
I don't know.
From what I've seen in a lot of videos, it's a lot cheaper in Europe. Cost of living.
Yeah, it's crazy because my grandma was saying like it's gonna be way more expensive, and I'm like, no, Grandma, it's gonna be cheaper.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people have that misconception.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. What scares people off is the flight of a plane ticket to Europe. And yes, getting to Europe, if you come in the summer, it is more expensive than flying to Orlando or LA or New York. However, I will tell you this right now. We have been coming to Europe for decades, and we make the money up by staying at hotels here, because hotels and restaurants I find are a lot cheaper to really enjoy life here in Europe than it is in the US. For example, if I go out to a decent restaurant here, I'm paying the same almost as what I'm paying like at a Chili's or something, and I'm getting way higher quality food. I mean, I'm not trying to knock Chili's, I'm just saying.
Way cheaper.
Just saying. But what really gets it, I think, is the accommodation. Whereas, like, if I want to get a basic, hotel in New York, $200, $300, $400 just for like a POS hotel room. Whereas in Europe, you'd be getting an outstanding place. Like, I mean, literally, when we come, we'll go for 2 or 3 weeks, and the money we save in accommodation pays for the boys' plane tickets and saves us money that actually it's better for me economically for my business to come filming in Europe than it is for me to travel around the US. So don't let the...
Well, and it's better content too, because we don't care about the US. We want to learn about Europe, all right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the dynamic of the American in Europe, the travel advice, all that kind of stuff. That's why his channel works really good.
Yeah.
Economically for my business to come filming in Europe than it is for me to travel around the US. So don't let the fear of Europe is so expensive get to you. And the thing is, there's parts of Europe that are expensive, Norway, Switzerland, coming to Stockholm, but if you leave the capital, prices drop a lot. It's like if you compare New York City prices to the rest of the US, the prices drop quite a bit, right? So you kind of think about that. Another mistake Americans make when they come to Europe is thinking you can meet people.
The audio changed drastically when
it did.
Different microphone.
I didn't realize these were like different clips.
Does he look drunk right now?
Yes, he does.
Where I paused it. Sorry, Walter. I didn't mean to do that to you, buddy, but he looks like he's hammered.
Yeah.
He's not, though.
No.
Anyways, what were you saying?
I don't know.
I distracted you and you forgot.
It's okay.
I said something about him looking drunk and you lost your train of thought.
Quite a bit, right? So you kind of think about that. Another mistake Americans make when they come to Europe is thinking you can meet people at luggage claim. Look, when you're in the US, you actually have the luggage carousels are out in the open.
It's because of the movies, probably. You got all the movies. I don't know. I don't fly a lot or anything at all. I mean, I went to Florida and back when I was a teenager 20 years ago. But in the movies, you see people all the time at the airport with the signs welcoming people and this and that. And they get on.
Yeah.
That's why people think that, because Hollywood lies to you. That's why. Hollywood's a bunch of liars.
Anybody can meet you there. Here in Europe, it's actually behind security, so you have to get your bags and then go outside. So you won't meet your family right here. You'll meet them outside. And to finish off, we're back here in Greece. We're actually in Hania on Crete. And I think another mistake I see tourists make when they come to Europe is they really think that the magic fanny pack is going to save them. You know the magic fanny pack. It's that feeling you feel when you go on vacation thinking nothing can possibly go wrong. It is safe everywhere.
I thought he was talking about an actual fanny pack, not just a feeling you get.
I thought so too. I'm like, what's wrong with those?
Yeah, she's a fan of the fanny pack.
I don't own a fanny pack.
You know what fanny means in Britain, right?
Buttocks?
I think something else. I can't tell you.
Where I go, nothing can possibly happen to me if I walk
It
out
might
in the
be
middle
the
of the street
butt,
to take a
though, but I
picture.
don't
Look, you still have to
so.
be, smart and be aware of your surroundings when you travel. And I see people that get really upset and kind of give up on their vacation because something bad happens. It does happen. People do get pickpocketed. You do get robbed. You do get sick. You do twist an ankle. These are all things that happen to us, and we keep on traveling. Don't let those things kind of get in your way, but also don't think things don't happen. Right? And I think that's one of those things that people think is that I'm protected because my magic fanny pack, my magic traveling bag will keep me safe. And that is not the case. You still have to use some common sense.
Makes you a target, really, if you got your bags and it looks like you're traveling.
Yeah, exactly.
People's like, oh, tourist. Oh, you got money. Oh, you got like,
I'm gonna
suitcase
pack
full of stuff.
light.
And I'm gonna hide my money in my shoe or something. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Somebody's gonna beat me up and take my shoe off.
I'll hide it in my shoe.
It'll be inside my sock in my shoe. So if anybody sees me out there getting mugged and somebody ripping my shoe off, they're looking for my money, I guess.
When you travel, and I'm specifically talking to people that like to stand in the middle of the road and try to get pictures of the Eiffel Tower or something when traffic's going. Yeah, people get hit all the time. That's why traffic accidents are probably the #1 cause of death for travelers, so just be aware of that, okay? Another mistake I see a lot of Americans make when they come here to Europe is they just try to see.
Oh, it's so pretty.
That is beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. We can go through, I mean, maybe not exactly that place there, that's Greece or Portugal, wherever, but there's places similar, that has the narrow European streets with the old medieval feel to it. Zutphen or whatever's one of them, which we may be staying in Zutphen for a few days, couple days. Not sure for sure. I think so, but
I can't wait.
we don't know when or anything like that yet, but I think we're going to be in that area for at least a day or two, a couple days, something like that. So we'll know more later.
Everything. Like, I want to see 20 countries in 3 days. I mean, it's not that extreme, but
That
it is
was
something you need to
me.
realize is that, look, when you're traveling around, do you really want to spend most of your vacation time actually on a train or in an airport or on a plane, or do you want to be exploring, seeing
Kind of
beautiful
both.
places like Hanyang and going to eat the fantastic food and seeing the beautiful
looks good.
museums and laying on the beaches, or do we want to go and, oh, we got another early flight to get to another island, we got another flight to get to another city? You want to think about that so you can enjoy it. Now, there's nothing wrong with seeing a lot of places. We actually have a video on how to see.
This is probably why John sent us this video, because
Yeah.
he's probably like, whoa, dude, calm down. You can't do all that in that short amount of time. You can't see all those
exactly.
things.
You need to chill out.
Yeah, I'm just excited. I want to see it all, guys.
a lot of places very
That too,
efficiently.
that's nice.
But honestly, if you're trying to do too much, it burns you out, and then you don't really get to enjoy the culture as much. So kind of have that in mind when you're kind of planning out your trip. Another slight mistake tourists make when they do travel in Europe is not realizing the driving etiquette is in different places. For example,
I'm not gonna
here
drive
in
there,
Greece,
probably.
the shoulder is like a third lane. Passing? Sure, whenever. Just move over if someone's coming around.
Probably
yeah, that's
not.
so weird. Like, how are we allowed to drive on the? I mean,
It doesn't seem safe.
it doesn't
Because-
at all. I would not feel comfortable at all.
You gotta, like, there's a process that you go through as a European in your country to get your driver's license, right? There's rules and regulations. You have to study the road signs. You got to know what things mean. You
Yeah.
probably should speak the language so you could read the signs. That would probably be helpful. And those are the things that they usually check and make sure. So if you have to do that, then why can I just go over there with my license that I have from here
Right.
with different rules and regulations? I didn't train none of it. I haven't looked at no European road signs with the mentality of trying to figure out what it means to go drive on that road or anything. So for me to just go over there and be able to get in a car is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
Just saying.
crazy.
Just saying. But so I'm probably not gonna be renting a car or anything like that, But somebody wants to let me borrow one while I'm over there so I can just kind of drive it around the block real quick and get some footage or something like that, maybe I'll do something like that. But I'm not trying to just be driving around Europe when I don't know what I'm doing over there.
Right.
Going around the block, probably not gonna do anything too bad, shouldn't cause too much harm.
Yeah, exactly.
But
It's like a third lane. Passing? Sure, whenever. Just move over if someone's coming around you. Oh, on the Autobahn? Yeah, there's no speed limit. And if you think you're driving
That'd be
fast,
fun.
there's somebody coming up behind you in a BMW or Mercedes going even faster, so you don't park in the left lane. And you left lane drivers back in the US that come to Europe, do not do that here, because you can get a ticket for it. And you need to realize there are those differences, and so they make those mistakes like, hey, there's no turns on red here, and you might get a ticket. And if you think the ticket people, like the police that give out those tickets, won't find you because you have a rental car and you're in another country, oh, don't worry. They'll find you, and they'll get their money from you.
We can turn right on red here, but it makes sense because if you're turning right on red and you drive in the right-hand lane and everything, then there's no harm as long as you are aware of, you know, nobody's turning your way. You're not cut in front of any lanes or anything. So.
Yeah, there's sometimes you can't go right on red, but
in certain
it'll
situations,
always have a sign that says no right on red.
It'll tell
if
you.
That's the case.
Yeah,
but
yeah, for sure. Certain situations,
I
if
mean,
there's
I
like,
get that.
you know, but
yeah,
that looks like a nice place.
yeah.
Like the water's like super blue.
Don't you worry about that, okay?
Don't you worry.
And then I want to say this. This is a mistake I see a lot of tourists make, and that is they just buy a lot of cheap, crappy souvenirs, whether for themselves or for their friends to give back when they go home, and that's a mistake. Because why are you buying 10 5-euro keychains?
Why was there a bunch of half shirts? Is it because they're by the beach? That's why. I can say, look at all the, or maybe they're folded up to be on display better,
yeah.
like that BMW shirt.
And that's a mistake. Because why are you buying 10 5-euro keychains when you can buy yourself one like 25-euro painting from a local artist, or get yourself a cool shirt that's something you'll wear more often than just one time? Because when you give people cheap souvenirs, guess what? They say thank you, and then they throw it away after a week or two. What do you, I mean, how many of you still keep all your snow globes from years ago, or all the little souvenir stuff? No, you end up throwing it away.
If anybody knows me good enough, they know that I don't want no damn snow globe. Nobody buys me snow globes. I don't have to worry about that. They know I'm not a snow globe kind of guy. You know what I mean? If I was a snow globe kind of guy and people were buying me gifts, then maybe they would buy me snow globes. But,
They were so popular back in the day.
I mean, you know, they're all right.
You still keep all your snow globes from years ago, or all the little souvenir stuff. No, you end up throwing it away, or you feel bad throwing it away. Better thing to do, send people postcards when you're traveling, because it shows you're thinking of them,
Hey, look
and
at
then they
that
get a
place.
stamp from another country. Oh, that's kind of cool. They thought of me. It's something they might
Look at
keep,
that.
but if they throw it away, you're only out like 2 euros instead of 5, 10, 25 euros for getting some kind of crappy souvenir. All right? So, I hope
Germany,
this
I
helps you
think.
know some of the mistakes
Strasbourg.
that tourists make when they come to Europe. What other mistakes that you see tourists make? Please let us know in the comments below so everybody can be better travelers when they come here to Europe. Also, I gotta say, we have a video on the don'ts of visiting Europe that kind of complements this. Has a little bit more serious tone to it to help you have a better time
wonder
traveling,
if
no
I've
matter where
done-
you are. From Finland to here in Greece to England to wherever. Enjoy your travels, my friends. Bye from here in Hanya.
Anyways, I wonder if I've done... this one seems familiar, the don'ts of Europe. I feel like I've done a reaction to that. I'm not quite sure. So, that was a good video.
Yeah, it was.
There was actually a lot of good information in there and, like, stuff... what was it? Like, the cash thing? Like, some places, you know, like, definitely...
The debit card. Yeah.
There was something else that I never even thought about. What was it? It was like halfway through. Let me look here. I don't even know. It was something that we had that it was like halfway through this and we're like, oh yeah, we didn't even think about that. I don't remember what it was now. It was like halfway through the video, but that was a good tip. Whatever it was. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a super fun, awesome day. Catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.
Bye, guys.